League of Legends Wild Rift is a difficult game to master. Sure, you can pick it up and try it out, but there's a lot you'll have to learn if you want to get good at it. So much so that when you first start playing, it can feel a little overwhelming. This is why we put together this League of Legends Wild Rift guide that will explain some of the deeper elements of League of Legends Wild Rift. Hi, this is Clash of Games, and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Let us discuss League of Legends Wild Rift classes. First, we'll go over the 6 different classes that the characters in League of Legends Wild Rift belong to. Some of them have some crossover between classes or are secondary classes, but these are the 6 core classes, and understanding what they do is critical to success in Wild Rift. For example, you wouldn't try to drive a car if you didn't know what the pedals did, and you shouldn't try to play League of Legends until you know what the classes do. The fighter comes first. Fighters, also known as bruisers, are excellent at both dealing and absorbing damage. They are frontline attackers who must be in the thick of the action, protecting their teammates and focusing their damage on high-value targets. It is your responsibility to fight anyone who tries to flank your team. Fighters are vulnerable to range damage dealers such as mages and assassins, but strong against assassins and tanks. Divers and juggernauts are the 2 fighter subclasses. Divers are the more mobile of the 2, taking on the role of a tougher assassin. Juggernauts are damage-dealing tanks, but they give up a lot of mobility in the process. The tank comes next. Tanks are, as the name suggests, hulking brutes capable of absorbing massive amounts of damage. They also use crowd control to maintain control of the battle and keep the other team's attention on them. The tank's main purpose is to prevent the opposing team from doing what they want. Vanguard tanks lead the charge, employing offensive abilities and inflicting AoE damage. Warden tanks are all about defense and shielding the rest of their team from the opposing team's attention. Let us now discuss the Mage. Mages use their magical powers to deal damage to opponents while staying on top of the fight's flow. They are effective against fighters and marksmen, but struggle against tanks because they cannot quickly deal enough damage to knock them out. They are also vulnerable to assassins. Artillery mages deal long-range burst damage, but they are vulnerable to close combat due to their general squishiness. Battle mages act more like fighters, charging into the fray, but they must be bolstered with defensive items. Finally, burst mages are ruthless slaughterers who can kill people in seconds. Of course, we must not overlook the assassin. Assassins attack single targets up close and personal, dealing massive amounts of damage. They move quickly, which is necessary given their lack of defensive capabilities. They can defeat marksmen and mages, but they will struggle against tanks and fighters due to their high HP. If you want to perfect your role as an assassin, you'll need to learn all about ganking, coming out of the jungle, and overpowering unsuspecting enemies. Assassins move quickly and can draw the opposing team's attention, luring them into wasting their abilities. Isn't this everyone's favorite role? The Marksman. Marksmen serve as the backbone of your offense, taking long-range shots to eliminate enemies before they get close. If you play as a marksman, you'll need to farm a lot of gold right away because you'll need to level up your strength with items. But once you've done that, you'll be extremely powerful. They can take down tanks and fighters with quick auto attacks, but they are vulnerable to mages and assassins who can take them down quickly if you aren't careful. Therefore, marksman characters should be primarily concerned with securing objectives and towers. Finally, there is the support. Surprisingly, support characters are all about the support. They're extremely vulnerable on their own, but they're extremely powerful when combined with other classes. If you're playing a support character and you find yourself on your own, you're probably in trouble. Catchers and enchanters are the 2 types of support characters. Catchers use crowd control skills to help their team's offensive capabilities. Enchanters primarily buff and heal, though they have limited crowd control abilities. Hi, we hope you are enjoying our content so far. If you do, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Let us now discuss the lanes and roles in League of Legends Wild Rift. Now we'll take a look at the various lanes and the roles that go with them. These are some of the most important things to understand in League of Legends Wild Rift, and they can be quite complex when you first start. But once they start to click, you'll improve even more. The first is Baron Lane. Baron Lane is so named because it is close to where Baron Nashor and the Heralds spawn. It's a 1 versus 1 lane, and it's probably the best place to be when you're just starting. Fighters, tanks, and assassins are the most common inhabitants. If you want to do well here, you'll need to develop some map awareness, keeping an eye out for tankers coming from the jungle to avoid becoming overwhelmed. It's also a great place to learn about trading and last-hit minions. The faster you win the lane, the better position your team will be in regarding split pushing and team fights. Winning the lane will also turn you into a mid-game powerhouse. Let us now discuss the mid lane. The mid lane is another 1 versus 1 lane that runs through the center of the map. Assassins and mages are usually fighting for the central ground. It's the main point for ganking from the jungle, so it's a difficult place to be if you're new to Wild Rift. The mid lane is usually the quickest to resolve because it is the shortest of the 3 lanes. That means if you win the mid lane, you'll get your ultimate much faster than if you won the other lanes. Players who take on the mid lane role must be adaptable, ready to assist players in other lanes once they've won their lane, as well as assist the jungler in some of their tasks. When they have their ultimate, they should always be looking to kill. The Dragon Lane is right next to it. The Dragon Lane is the lane closest to the dragon's spawn point. It is a 2 versus 2 lane, as opposed to the other 2 lanes. A support and a marksman are the most common teams here. Unsurprisingly, it is also the most difficult of the 3 lanes to master. Marksmen must farm items and gold to increase their stats and last-hitting minions and stay away from the center of the fight. The support character is responsible for protecting the marksman while also controlling the lane and keeping the opposing team at bay. Players in Dragon Lane must farm dragons, protect the jungler when in danger, and much more. The Dragon Lane can turn into a real battle of attrition, so don't spread yourself too thin or you'll be overrun. The jungle is right around the corner. The jungle is the area between the lanes, and it's a difficult role for new players to fill. The main goals here are to farm jungle monsters, to get tougher and drop buffs for other players, and gank other lanes when necessary. Securing the drakes and scuttlers is critical because they can drastically change the flow of a battle and provide your team with boosts and buffs as they move between lanes. When you're the jungler, you can't just focus on one thing, so you have to juggle this and to gank. Fighters and tanks are the best classes to use in the jungle. Remember, you should only play as the jungler if you're completely comfortable with everything that's going on in Wild Rift. Let us now discuss the game's items. Last but not least, we'll look at the various types of items on which you'll be spending your gold. These are the methods for toughening up your character in the middle of a game, and spending wisely can turn you into an unstoppable killing machine. Physical items. These are items that boost your character's physical AD, attack damage. They will boost your character's AD, attack speed, and critical strike potential. If you're playing a character specializing in dealing with physical damage, you must spend some of your gold here. Magic items. These items are all about increasing the power of your magical spells, making them do more damage, reducing cooldown times, and so on. Mages and support characters are most likely to spend their gold here, but tanks may as well. Defense items. You guessed it, these items are essentially Wild Rift's armor. They increase your HP, armor, and magic resistance. Of course, tanks and fighters will need to spend their gold here, but there will be times when any character can benefit from adding some defense to their build. Boots. Boots are extremely important for all characters in Wild Rift because they allow you to move faster. They'll also assist you in avoiding skill shots. You should also consider purchasing enchantments for your boots, which add extra useful powers that can help in various situations. That sums up today's video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications to be notified of every upload. This is Clash of Games, and we will see you in our next video.